Welcome to this explainer. Okay, so today we are completely reframing how you look at Japanese grammar. If you've ever felt intimidated by learning a new language, especially one that seems as vastly different from English as Japanese does, well, I've got some pretty fantastic news for you. We're definitely not treating Japanese grammar like a chore today. Instead, we're going to approach it as a series of incredibly logical language hacks that will instantly, and I mean literally instantly, expand your vocabulary. We're going to master the Japanese past tense using Mashita. We'll explore exactly how to use real-world phrases like Kinou Tsukurimashita and Benkyou shimashita. And we'll lock the whole shebang into your long-term memory with some highly effective practical drills. It's going to be a lot of fun, and honestly, you might be surprised by just how quickly this clicks.
Here is our cognitive roadmap for today. We'll start with past tense made simple, move into everyday workplace Japanese, explore the Shimasu vocabulary multiplier, look at turning English into Japanese, and wrap up with time words and drills.
All right, let's dive straight into Section 1, Past Tense Made Simple, focusing on the absolute beauty of regular verbs. Now, acknowledging that learning a brand new tense can seem really daunting at first is totally fair. When you're so used to the way your native language works, introducing a whole new concept of time just feels heavy. But, as we're about to discover together, Japanese actually makes this wonderfully painless and, dare I say, elegant.
When we compare English and Japanese side by side, the difference is honestly pretty striking. Take a look at English on the left. English past tense is notoriously chaotic. To make becomes made. To go becomes went. You just have to blindly memorize these irregular jumps. As native English speakers, we kind of forget how brutal that is for people trying to learn our language. But on the right side, look at formal Japanese. Tsukurimasen, which means I make, simply becomes Tsukurimashita. Ikimasu, I go, becomes ikimashita. It's a perfectly regular, highly predictable swap. You just drop the masu and add mashita. Once you know the present tense form of a formal verb, you automatically know the past tense too. No guessing games.
Think of this little four-form chart as your golden key for formal Japanese verbs. It literally maps out everything you need. Up top in the non-past, which covers present or future actions, we have the affirmative tabemasu for I eat and the negative tabemasen for I don't eat. Simple enough, right? Now let's drop down to the past row. To say I ate, you simply swap masu for mashita, giving you tabemashita. And for the negative past, to say I didn't eat, you swap masen for masen deshita, resulting in tabemasen deshita. You do this every single time. There are zero exceptions for these formal forms. It is beautifully, perfectly logical, and it's going to save you countless hours of rote memorization.
Now that we have the core theory down, let's move right into Section 2, Everyday Workplace Japanese. Let's see what this actually looks like in the wild by dropping in on Mr. Smith and Miss Honda as they prep for an upcoming presentation.
This quick exchange is a brilliant example of how native speakers actually use these forms day to day. Honda asks, dekimashita ka? Is that done? Smith answers using the exact past tense rule we just learned. Kinou tsukurimashita. Yes, I made it yesterday. Notice how clean that is? Kinou tsukurimashita. No irregular junks, no confusing grammar gymnastics. Honda then suggests, chotto renshu shimasen ka? Shall we practice a little? And Smith confirms with, hai, wakarimashita. Sure, got it. This is a super brief, highly efficient exchange relying entirely on the formal verbs and past tense endings we've been uncovering. It just proves you don't need insanely complex sentences to be highly communicative in a Japanese office.
I want to quickly pull out two specific words from that dialogue because they are absolutely crucial for you to know. The first is dekimashita. Literally, it translates to it came into being, but practically, it means it is done or I finished it. And let me tell you, this is frankly one of the most satisfying words to drop at work in Japanese. When you finish a massive report or a really tough presentation, you can confidently announce, dekimashita. Everyone immediately knows the task is fully complete. It's a great feeling.
The second key word from the dialogue is wakarimashita. Now, if you studied even a tiny bit of Japanese, you might already know wakarimasu, which means I understand. But using the past form, wakarimashita, is the standard, natural way in a Japanese workplace to confirm you've actually received and accepted an instruction. Think of it as understood or got it. It's a vital piece of workplace etiquette, and it sounds so much more professional than just nodding and saying hi, which really just means yes. Wakarimashita proves active comprehension.
Let's jump into Section 3, the Shimasu vocabulary multiplier. Get ready, because this is the part where your vocabulary is going to literally explode with basically zero effort on your part. This is arguably one of the most productive tools in the entire language for beginners.
What's really fascinating here is just how mathematical Japanese can be. We're essentially using a simple equation to build vocabulary. Here's the formula. Step 1, take an action noun, like renshu, which is the noun for practice. Step 2, you just add the verb shimasu, which means to do. Step 3, your result is a brand new perfectly regular verb, renshu shimasu, meaning to practice. You are literally just snapping two distinct Lego pieces together to create an action. It is language building blocks at its finest.
This multiplier effect lets you instantly command dozens, if not hundreds of new verbs. Take benshio, study, add shimasu, and you get benkyou shimasu, to study. And what if you want to say I studied? You use the past tense hack from earlier. You just say benkyou shimashita. It really is this massive aha moment when you realize you don't have to learn a whole new conjugation table for every single action. Denwa, a phone call, becomes denwa shimasu, to make a phone call. Unten, the act of driving, becomes unten shimasu, to drive. Because these all end in shimasu, you already know their past, negative, and past negative forms without even breaking a sweat.
Moving right along to Section 4, turning English into Japanese. We like to call this the katakana loophole. So if you thought that shimasu multiplier was a cool trick with native Japanese nouns, just wait until you see how perfectly it applies to modern English loanwords.
Let's see how this builds on our formula. Japanese actually borrows a ton of modern English tech words, turns them into nouns using the katakana alphabet, and then just happily slaps shimasu right on the end. The English word email becomes meru. Add our magic verb, and boom, meru shimasu, to email. Copy becomes kopi, giving you kopi shimasu. You can even do this with words like getto shimasu, to get something, or uploado shimasu, to upload something. You literally already know these words, you just have to Japaneseify them a bit. It's such an incredible shortcut for modern communication.
But, and this is a huge asterisk here, I have to give you a very crucial warning. Even though these words clearly come from English, you absolutely must pronounce them using Japanese syllable sounds. Do not fall back on your English pronunciation. The word email is not pronounced mail. It's spoken as 3 distinct Japanese syllables, me-e-ru. Copy is ko-pi. If you rely on your English intuition and just say the English words with an accent, native Japanese speakers are probably not going to understand you at all. You have to fully commit to the Japanese phonetic structure for this loophole to actually work.
All right, we've covered a ton of ground so far, from the fundamentals of the Mashita past tense to our massive vocabulary multipliers. So let's head into our final section, Section 5, Time Words and Drills. This is where we put it all into practice and really solidify what we've learned.
First things first, let's map out our critical time words on a timeline. Getting a good feel for these anchors is super helpful. Moving chronologically from left to right, we've got ototoi, which means the day before yesterday. Then we have kino, yesterday, kyo, today. Moving into the future, we have ashita, tomorrow. And finally, asate, the day after tomorrow. Obviously, the past tense verbs we learned today, all those regular verbs ending in MASHTA and deshita, apply firmly on the left side of this timeline, specifically for events that happen ototoi and kino.
Okay, drill time. Let's really cement this. I'm going to challenge you right now to build a sentence completely from scratch. How would you say, I didn't practice yesterday? Think about the pieces you need here. You need the time word for yesterday, you need the noun for practice, and you need the negative past tense formula we learned for our shimasu verbs. I'll give you a second, put those puzzle pieces together in your head. Have you got it? Let's check your work.
The answer is Kinoa wa renshu shimasen deshita. Let's break down how incredibly satisfying it is when these pieces snap together. You start with the time word, kinoo, for yesterday, followed by the topic marker, wa. Then you take the noun, renshu, for practice, and attach the negative past tense of shimasu, which is shimasen deshita. Stick it all together and wow, you have just built a complex, perfectly natural, grammatically correct Japanese sentence entirely from scratch. That is the real power of understanding these modular rules instead of just trying to memorize a phrasebook.
So, we have covered exactly how regular the past tense is with Mashita and deshita, how to seamlessly use phrases like Kinou Tsukurimashita and wakarimashita at work, and how the shimasu multiplier turns hundreds of everyday nouns into verbs instantly, like Benkyou shimashita. You are now fully equipped to talk confidently about the past. So, I want to leave you with a quick thought as we wrap up this explainer. Now that you can talk about what you did and didn't do, what will you shimasu tomorrow? Seriously, try picking a noun from your daily routine, slapping a shimasu on it, and bringing this Japanese hack directly into your own life.
Keep practicing, keep running those drills, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.